Hello, everyone. This is another bonus episode from Dead Cell Media. I'm Mark Sullivan, and joining me is, as always, I don't know, pick an order.
Delaila Lugo?
There we go.
Jason Kwasnicki,
What the fuck was the sigh for?
because fuck the French.
Okay.
What?
I apologize to
Can't-
any of our listeners who may be of French descendants, but unfortunately, I pity you for being descendant of such a sadistic race.
Yeah, I apologize for this as well, but you can't really argue with that. And we'll get to why, because I think I know why Jason said that. But the whole point of this episode last week, if you follow Dead Cell Media, if you follow our Reap the Spoils feed, if you follow our YouTube channel, you'll know that our last episode was E3 predictions for E3 2019. And E3 is over as of today. Well, it's still technically going on right now in California, but no new announcements are going to happen. I think it's safe to wrap up what we did and didn't get right.
E3 as it matters to everybody not actually at E3.
Yeah, which is unfortunately us. But we still have fun. We still had fun. And we're still about to have fun right now.
Not as much fun though.
Not as much fun.
predictions.
You know what? You know what would have made this more fun would be a couple of brewskis, maybe a glass of wine. I don't know, but
Oh, fancy.
maybe next
Coffee.
time. Oh, Delilah has coffee at almost 8 o'clock at night. Jesus, I
I'm
hope
Puerto
it's,
Rican. What do you expect?
I hope it's decaf. But anyway,
Is
yeah.
that like a Puerto Rican thing?
Yeah, I
Coffee at
think
night?
so. I think so.
I think so.
Well, okay. So, what we're going to be doing is I have written down all of our predictions from last week, and we will be going down, in a circle like we did, getting the predictions and tallying up who won and who lost, and who was in the center. I don't know. I don't know what the totals are. Delilah could have like no points. Jason could have like 6 points, and I could have 3.
I'm
And-
pretty sure I have 0 points.
Well, we're about to find.
I know I got one, because I got balls.
All right, whatever, nerd. Yeah, if you listen to last week's show as well, you would know that Jason has balls. He brought up balls no less than 3 times, and he took them out at one point. But we don't have to talk about that. So, who do we want to start with?
Who did we start with in
You know
predictions?
what?
Was
Fuck
it me?
We're just gonna start with me because I'm the first page on here. We started with Jason last time, but fuck Jason. I don't want to start with him.
Just jealous.
Okay, so my first prediction, and I was on the right track. I ultimately got it wrong, but I was on the right track. In fact, this announcement was actual announcement was probably bigger than the one that I was thinking. Limited Run Games doing a physical release of Final Fantasy VII for PS4 did not come true.
No, but they freaking took a Brawlic ass IP. I was really surprised.
Yeah, that was a deal and a half. So Limited Run Games got a deal with Lucasfilm to release, I want to say, around 10 different Star Wars games in physical form, which is huge for that company and is a pretty big deal given that they now effectively have a deal with Disney. That's way bigger than I could have even imagined. So, good for
Shadows
them.
of the Empire on there?
I want to say yes. I know Dark Forces was. Dark Forces was one of them. The first one they're doing is on June 28th. They're doing Star Wars Bounty Hunter for PS4, which is the game where you play as Jango Fett.
Fuck Jango Fett.
Okay.
There's a reason Samuel Jackson cut his head off. Even George Lucas knew he was a little bitch.
So, yeah, if you haven't checked out Limited Run Games, go check them out. Pretty soon they'll be doing Star Wars games. If Star Wars is something you care about, that's something you're going to want to look out for.
Just because Limited Run is probably something that most people don't watch, and it's the only prediction we have in there from Limited Run. I just want to say that I really enjoyed their little thing of that like fake audience, and then you had like a random person like in the middle of the audience like, hey, and everyone
Yeah.
else was like a cardboard box. I thought
Their
that was great.
their press conference last year was the same way, and as soon as it started and I saw that, I was like, oh, I'm glad that they're sticking with the
Self-
aesthetic.
Self-deprecating.
Very self-deprecating, very self-aware, but they have fun with it, and it's good to see. It was enjoyable to watch.
Just for, I mean, I don't care about our audience. I more want to know, but also for our audience, about how much do these limited run editions cost, like on average?
Usually standard, like just to get the game, the standard edition, if you will, it's usually around $20 to $30. Depends on the game. I've seen some go as high as 50. Those are usually it all depends on the deal that they sign. And then there's almost always a collector's edition nowadays, and those can range anywhere from 70 to I've seen some go to 130. Which all
And
those depend on the contents that they have to get, the manufacturing. It's all part of the deal again.
they kind of go, they sell like one thing at a time, or
They always drop. They typically always drop around 2 games every Friday. They do a batch at 10 a.m. and they do a batch at 6 p.m. to give people 2 chances to get their hands on the release that they want. So, yeah, good for them. And
if you want some Django Fed action.
yeah, go check them out. I did. I'll also do a quick plug, real quick, at the beginning of the show. I recently unboxed their Jack and Daxter Precursor Legacy Collector's Edition.
And you were looking fly.
Aw, thanks. But that is up on the YouTube channel. You can find the YouTube channel Dead Cell Media on YouTube and give that a watch if you're interested. So anyway, we'll continue on. Do we want to go in press conference order, actually, now that I think about it? Or do we just want to go, all right, fine, be that way. We're going to start with the first disappointment of E3. Jason, I'm sorry. Splinter Cell did not get a new game.
So I wanna speak on this.
Yeah,
I
I
got a
kind of
beef.
I feel like you
Around 80 years ago, okay, the French were like, "Yo, man, we got some problems. These motherfucking Germans
I knew this
come
is why he was going to
shit all over us." And just a week ago, we celebrated the anniversary where thousands of young American GIs died. You know, to tell those Germans to fuck off. This is France. And you know, everything was good for a while. And nowadays, 80 years later, all we wanted was Splinter Cell. And instead, these fucking French were like, "Oh no, we want to do our own new IP." And they come out with this. It's even more insulting because not only did we not find out exactly like anything about this game except that it's got some kind of cartoon aesthetic, it's also got a shitty name. They couldn't even name it like something exciting. Just Gods and Monsters. The fuck is that?
See, I'm more surprised you're going to bring up that, and that's something I do want to talk about briefly. I'm more surprised you're bringing up that and not the fact that we didn't get a new Splinter Cell, but we did see Sam Fisher.
Yeah, we saw, and they also
How
teased
dare
us. They put Sam Fisher in a fucking mobile game.
And that game is called Elite Squad, which has a bunch of characters from various Ubisoft games.
You fucking French.
Mostly
Can't
Tom
believe
Clancy
that.
game. Well, it is a Tom Clancy game. Entirely Tom Clancy. So, at least I got very worried when we saw Sam Fisher because I was very worried that that game was going to be the new Splinter Cell. Thank God it was called Elite Squad and it's just a Tom Clancy mobile game. But yes, no new Splinter Cell for Jason. No point for Jason on new Splinter Cell.
The nerve for them to even show Sam Fisher
Yeah.
with no Splinter Cell
Well,
announcement.
what I do want to bring up though, on the topic of gods and monsters, um, this is one trend of this E3 that really took it down for me. This was the E3 of just cinematic trailers and no gameplay or explanation of what their game is. And Gods and Monsters was the last game they showed, and I have no clue what that game is.
No, they're just like, oh, Assassin's Creed Odyssey has sex with Zelda Breath of the Wild, and this is the game that we're bringing out. And that's all we know.
Which is it's worrisome because it wasn't only a Ubisoft thing. Bethesda did it, Microsoft did it, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. But most of the press conferences were just had cinematic after cinematic, and I have no idea what their game actually is.
Yeah,
And that's
I mean,
very worrisome.
looking at their other Tom Clancy IPs, Ghost Recon. To be fair, I didn't play Wildlands, so I'm not really sure, how that turned out. I really don't know. Neither of you guys played it. I asked you guys. Nobody I know really played it. I heard kind of meddling things about it. I remember playing Ghost Recon way back in like Ghost Recon 1. Like that was a really tactical shooter where literally one bullet would kill you, as in like real life. And it was fucking awesome. And now it's just kind of a generic third person open world. I don't know. I wish Tom Clancy would just buy back his IP and sell it to somebody who would do it justice. That's not French.
They're trying to sell it with John Bernthal, but I'm sorry to say Keanu Reeves just stole that shine.
Not even John Bernthal, but just the dog. I don't think anyone cared about John Bernthal. Everyone was just excited about the dog on stage.
I was too.
Imagine if Keanu Reeves had still been in Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. That's where
Cyberpunk.
that's that hit game where a bunch of robots sleep in bunk beds together.
Jeez. Imagine if he had come out on the Xbox stage like he did, but he also came out on the Ubisoft stage for Ghost Recon, and he was just like on every fucking press conference.
And then he comes out. He comes out on a Square stage dressed like Cloud. Yeah, that would have been. That would have been something else.
He's got a Buster Sword on his back.
Somehow he shows up in the Nintendo Direct, just crashes it. All right. Let's move on to Delilah's first prediction. And this is one we're going to have to deliberate on.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Her very first prediction was that we would get Wolfenstein Youngblood co-op gameplay.
Nope.
We did not get gameplay, but there were co-op gameplay snippets in the trailer.
The thing is, we saw gameplay snippets, but none of them really showed off
co-op. It was all single.
Which, like,
yeah.
All right, so how are we doing this? No, are we not deliberating?
I'm fine with not taking a point for that. I really wanted fucking hardcore gameplay.
And honestly,
you better be fine with it because you're not getting a point for it.
Oh my God, Jason.
All the sass today.
He really is locked and loaded.
I'm not in a good mood now.
All right, so sorry, Delilah. I was with you on this too. If you listen to the show, I really thought that they would go into some sort of gameplay of co-op elements of this game, but they just flat out didn't. It was just another cinematic trailer.
It's bullshit. That's all we had already.
And you would think, given the way the rest of Bethesda's conference went, like that would be something actually like useful rather than just fucking CGI trailer padding for ESO or lackluster shit coming out for Fallout 76. Like, oh, let's do like a 5 to 10 minute thing for actually showing co-op gameplay of Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Because I mean the Doom stuff was good, but that was pretty much all the real gameplay, lengthy demo we got from them.
I mean, that's really been the trend with them. I feel the past few E3s is they they pick one game that they really, really dive deep into and show you gameplay and all this stuff for. Last year it was Fallout 76. This year it was Doom Eternal. Um,
The Doom stuff wasn't even that deep.
it
Not
wasn't.
nearly as deep
No, I totally agree.
as like when they showed off Fallout 4, which they spent like, if I remember correctly, it was like 20, 25 minutes on. They really went into that.
And to be fair, that was a very exciting reveal. It was their first time having an E3 press conference. So there was a lot to show, and they had a lot to prove, and they really nailed it. They just haven't been able to nail it since.
Yeah, and every single press conference that showed gameplay for a game, that was the strongest moments of E3 for me. Like anytime they showed gameplay for like Final Fantasy VII or Doom Eternal or even Watch Dogs Legion, like that would have been necessary for Wolfenstein, which is coming out in a month.
And I think the reason it resonated so well with you is because it was such a trend to not see it whatsoever for most of the games shown. That once we actually see a game, it doesn't matter what it is, but we see a game, it's like, oh, that actually looks really good compared to literally anything else that I've seen, which is basically nothing.
Right, and plus it's Wolfenstein co-op. Like that's not something we've had.
Right, that's pretty new. Or
we've seen Doom. We know what that gameplay is like. You know, they added some new features, but like we don't know like Wolfenstein co-op looks like.
To add to that, I actually, looking at what gameplay they did show of Wolfenstein, while the aesthetic and obviously it's different characters, but you're playing as BJ Blazkowicz, one of their twin daughters. It pretty much looked exactly the same as the previous game, just a little bit of a different aesthetic. But gameplay wise, it's like 1-to-1, and the small bits that we got of it actually makes me kind of worried that they know it. Just like Wolfenstein 2 was a little less, what's the word I'm looking for? Wasn't as well received as the first one. This one might be another bit of a dip.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see soon enough when the game comes out. I think July.
Yep.
Moving on, I'm just going to get these three out of the way, like just down the line. Just going to do it. Guys, we were all fucking wrong.
Final Fantasy VII.
I was closest. I get the point.
And I'm no. And since this is the first one where we talk about release dates, if you don't get the month right, because all of us said like it gets a date and it's this month. If you don't get the month right, you don't get the point.
This is bullshit.
And that's okay, because I don't really think any of us got points for any release date predictions that we made. We really did not nail it on the release timings. But I think one of us did call it in the last episode. The game was either going to get a release date of the very end of November or the very beginning of March, because Delaila picked December of this year. I picked January 31st of 2020, and Jason picked February 2020. And sure enough, the release date is March 3rd. So,
fucking 3 days off.
3 days off. Congratulations, Jason. You get no points for being 3 days off.
It's fucking Japanese. Still salty they lost.
A lot of games are coming out in March now.
Yeah, March is very loaded. The first half of 2020 already is very loaded.
Yeah.
Which is good if you used to buy a lot of games in the fall. Now you have less to buy in the fall. It's just now you are, instead of a 3-month period, you're kind of spread over a 6-month period of spending a lot of money on video games.
Yeah.
We'll also get these remaining Final Fantasy related predictions that Jason and I had. There was no Final Fantasy 13 trilogy. Not only that, but they teased us by saying about Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I kind of want to talk about after we get through these two predictions. They said, "Do you guys want to play it?" And the whole crowd erupts.
I knew he was talking about at E3.
Yeah.
Fucking demo at E3 at their booth. Thanks, guys. It's not like the people at home want to play it or anything. So yeah, we did not get a 13 trilogy, and we did not get a demo. I did not get a point. Jason, you also did not get a point.
Fucking Nomura, man.
There was no Final Fantasy 16 tease at the end of the Square Enix show.
See, my boy Katase, he didn't say any stupid shit like that. It was that motherfucker Nomura, who I don't believe I've ever seen wear a pair of pants.
Yeah, you brought that up. I'm a little concerned why you're paying so much attention to Nomura's lower half.
Because I fucking hate Nomura.
But you love that man.
Damn.
We all love that man.
No, I love Katase.
Yeah, that's true. Kitase is pretty cool.
Katase's OG. Nomura just drew pictures.
He just drew pictures.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yeah, what did before we continue with the predictions, what did we think of the Final Fantasy VII remake?
I think it looks great. I'm super hyped. That was a super hype freaking gameplay demo, whatever.
Yeah.
Gameplay.
I lost my shit. I am so excited for that game. I've probably watched the footage, the gameplay footage at least twice, and the trailer at least 5 times. I'm very excited about it.
I really like that they didn't just adopt the Final Fantasy 15 combat system. They kind of like mix and matched it with a little bit of like turn-based. Well, not turn-based, but
nothing, like it's almost nothing like. If you actually break it down, it's really almost nothing like 15, other than being action rather than turn-based.
No,
exactly.
They took like some of the best parts of 15's combat and 13's combat.
13, yeah. The what is it? The stagger. Is that what it's called?
The staggering and the ATB is very similar to 13's combat. Plus, the ATB system coming from 7 itself, the original, mixed with
technically comes from 4, but
well, you know know what I mean, and
yeah.
Not to mention the limit system, plus 15's real time combat. It's a lot of the best parts of a lot of really good games. And it looks so much fun to play. And I'm really upset we didn't get a demo. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah.
I'm bummed. I'm
And
excited
you know
for
what?
that game, but I'm bummed.
I guarantee you my boy Ito is going to get credits for combat direction. You just wait and see.
All right. I will.
Ito's the man. Directed all the best Final Fantasies.
I will wait and see.
But yeah, they did address my second biggest concern, which was combat, which yes, I would prefer a turn-based, but I can understand the need for an action-based combat system in terms of sales. And I think it's a good compromise from at least what I've seen.
Yeah, I think they really nailed it. They nailed some sort of like midway between the two, because you can reach a point where you get tactical, and I don't think turn-based is the way to go anymore for a franchise like Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I could be a little biased because I have grown tired of turn-based games. I think Persona 5 was the last one that I really enjoyed, which was pretty recent. But I feel like even with this E3, you see so many JRPG turn-based game. It was like saturated with them between Square Enix and Nintendo that I think it's a good thing that they did mix and match it a little bit. Otherwise, like, it would have been like not the same game, but a lot of games similar in terms of combat, and I would have gotten like burnt out by it.
Well, I think part of the problem with that is 50% of Square Enix's conference was Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
and then those RPGs that were in Nintendo's Direct were still Square Enix games. We had the Collection of Mana, Trials of Mana,
Dragon Quest.
I believe we also saw a new Oninaki trailer at some point.
Yes, we did.
Which is
Tokyo RPG Factory. That's
Yeah.
Tokyo RPG Factory, right? Yeah.
I believe so. The same developers of I Am Setsuna and
Yeah, which is a fucking awesome game, especially if you're like me and you love the old school Final Fantasies
or Chrono Trigger.
Or Chrono Trigger. Well, it's kind of like a top-down turn-based mix between Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy X.
Yeah. All right.
What almost got me more, if not got me more excited than that 7 demo, which really blew me away, It's coming. Final Fantasy fucking 8. Dude, I'm so excited. It looks so good.
Yeah, it does. The glow up on the character models is pretty stunning.
I should have, if I was smart, I should have put that in instead of the Final Fantasy 16 tease. But
Yeah.
I want it to be ballsy.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, so that does look great. How do we feel? Yeah, I'll bring this up just to bring it full circle real quick, because there were no predictions regarding this. How did we feel about Avengers?
I wish there was gameplay again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Apparently, I read like an article or two from the behind the scenes demo that they watched,
Mhm.
and apparently some of what we saw was like gameplay spliced in there.
But
Yeah.
it's the whole concept of bull shots, where they take not even just screenshots, but footage, and they touch it up so much that is it really indicative of the final product? We don't really
Right.
know.
Right.
And I will say, even those bull shots looked cool, like the way like Iron Man was standing above like the traffic and like shooting his whatever the fuck. What is it? Hyper beam? I can't
I'm
remember.
the wrong person to ask.
Ion. It's Ion, I believe.
Okay. Looked really fucking cool. So if it is anything like that, I have faith in the game, but I need to see more. Like, it wasn't enough for me, and
Yeah,
I
it
wish
was
they
a
would have done it the justice that they did for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, and that too. Similarly, not nearly as egregious, but similarly, seeing more of that game was a long time coming. We got
Yeah.
that announcement, I think, in 2017. Final Fantasy VII Remake was 2015, but so that we were much more due footage of that. But this was their big moment to really wow us with that game, and it was also how they ended their press conference. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that game is. We got the release. It was what, May 2020,
yeah,
which is less than a year, not too long after Final Fantasy VII is coming out, and how little we actually saw of it, and quite frankly, how unimpressive it looked. Um, it's a little worrying.
yeah. I'm sure they'll show more in the future, to try and really send home what the actual point of the game is. But moving on, we've now discussed all of Square Enix's press conference. We have to get back to the point of the episode, which is proving that we know nothing about the games industry. Delaila, you said Dying Light 2 would be dated for October.
It's so far away.
We didn't even get a date, did we? It's just spring 2020, I think.
And we got the same trailer twice, I believe.
Did we?
I think they used the same trailer in the Xbox conference as they did in the Square
Oh
one.
no, I think
Yeah.
I think it was a different trailer, wasn't it? Because the Microsoft one was like a story trailer, and the Square Enix one showed a lot more like parkour footage. I feel like it was pretty.
It looked the same, but maybe it was just my memory is bad.
Or maybe
I
I
think
really
it's-
didn't pay attention.
I think it's like what they did with Kingdom Hearts, where they added just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
But it's-
Xanor and Axgok and all the members of Organization 13.
I can't talk to you about Kingdom Hearts. I just can't do it.
What is Organization 13
I love
even?
how and I love this because you're trying to goad me. I know what you're trying to do, Jason. You're trying to goad me into explaining this to you, and I'm not gonna do it. Not here. Not
Which
now.
they showed DLC at Square, and it did nothing for me.
And the DLC will add another Ansem. This is
Oh.
Ansem number 4.
The DLC doesn't do much for me either because from what I saw in that trailer, a lot of it was stuff that I really wanted to see in the main game that just didn't happen. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get into it because it is kind of spoilery.
Because I heard the main game sucked.
And I am kind of surprised that they showed that trailer just like flat out on their stage, given that it's only been 5 months since the game, and they're very touchy about spoilers. But
It's okay. We still love you, Mark, even though you play Kingdom Hearts.
Delaila, I'm sorry, you did not get a point for Dying Light 2.
Yeah, no worries.
But guess who did get a point for a new IP from Arcane.
You.
This guy.
Is
I have a point because Arcane announced.
that?
What's up?
Go ahead. No, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you what it was. It was a Ghostwire.
No,
What was it?
Arcane.
No,
No.
Arcane's new
that's
game.
Tango.
Arcane's
Oh,
new
yeah.
game is Deathloop,
Oh yeah,
which
yeah.
was
that's right.
another cinematic trailer with no gameplay, but the concept they kind of explained a little bit. Seems kind of cool.
I like the fact that they're keeping, in their previous games, you've been able to use power. It's their previous games, Dishonored and Prey, first-person action with use of powers, pretty tactical, and very free in the way they allow you to approach the gameplay. And the trailer did look like that was the way this new IP was going to continue in that tradition. So, even though I would have liked to see more Dishonored or something in that vein, still kind of excited to see what they'll come up with next.
This game also did alert me to another weird trend that was happening at E3 this year. There were like 3 different games involving time loops.
What were
Yeah.
the other ones?
There was the top-down one at the Xbox conference.
Yeah, 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe there was another one, and I just can't remember what it was. But that's just a strange trend of multiple games utilizing that concept. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was interesting to bring up.
Yo, what happens if in Cyberpunk 2077, at one point in the game, Keanu Reeves brings down a telephone booth that you go time traveling in?
I have nothing to say to you. So we'll move on. This is another chain of 3 predictions that I want to cover. Specifically for you two, it's the same prediction that we would see a Resident Evil 8 tease.
You
I
should
don't.
get a half point for
I
Blair
don't-
Witch.
I don't think we saw. Oh my! No, you're not getting a half point for a completely different IP from a completely different developer and publisher.
Yo, this is bullshit. This is so biased because you already have a point and you don't want to lose your lead.
So, what I want to bring up, because to counter your twos is the two of you making that
The
prediction.
twos of you.
The twos of you making that prediction for Resident Evil 8. I said we would see Dino Crisis being rebooted. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did Capcom have any presence whatsoever?
Nah.
No.
Like,
I think-
this is a weird
I-
E3 where we just had no Capcom.
I think everybody was saying something like you specifically. I think in our previous prediction episode cited because Mikami was going to be there. He was actually there because of his own actual studio, Tango.
Well, I assumed,
But
but I thought it was
because they were putting out
possible-
that new IP.
I thought it was possible he could be there for Dino Crisis.
Speaking of which, that creative director of Tango's new game, Ghostwire,
Yes,
she is the fucking best.
she is.
Oh, she was so cool.
She was awesome. But I digress.
And that
None
game
of
looks
us-
great.
That game does look. The concept is very cool.
Yeah.
Another cinematic trailer, no gameplay, but she did explain the concept a little bit, and it seems interesting.
Because every day she goes to work and thinks, is it paranormal or normal?
Yes. Thank you, Jason, for that recap. So none of us got the Capcom points. There was no Capcom at all. It's a shame. Moving on. Jason. I tried to tell you.
Oh yeah. I know
What
this
was
one.
this?
I tried to tell you that The Elder Scrolls 6 would not be there, and you didn't listen.
I have balls, man.
He did say the name Elder Scrolls 6.
I was gonna try, I was thinking of
I had a
arguing that.
feeling
Oh my
you were going to
God.
And
try
I was-
that argument.
And I was thinking because technically speaking, the Elder Scrolls 6, the title did come up on their screen,
But that's not
but it was last year's teaser that they showed again.
Yeah.
It's no go. No points for you. Sorry, Jason.
This is so biased.
I
and
tried
unfair.
to. I tried.
Please,
I tried to
Please
save
leave
you.
in the comments, everybody, how biased and unfair Mark is.
I tried to save you. I really did, but you just wouldn't listen. Um, it's unfortunate. It truly, truly, truly is. Delilah, your prediction of Doom Eternal coming in October.
That was close.
You were very close, but you were not correct.
It was
No.
not in the month. You don't get the point.
September's the new October, guys.
Well, I mean, it comes out in November, but
Is it November? I
Yeah.
thought it was September. Get the fuck out of here.
no, it's
Now,
November.
now I'm upset.
It's
You don't even know
I'm-
how you failed.
I'm double
I don't.
checking. I'm fact checking myself here. Yes, November 22nd, Doom Eternal releases. 1 month off. I was debating on getting the collector's edition. The collector's edition has a wearable helmet. It has since sold out, so I'm not getting a wearable Doom guy helmet.
I'm not because I bought the Final Fantasy VII Collector's Edition.
Yes, so did
The
I,
300
Delilah.
You
How
guys
much?
bought the $300 one?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much do you regret that, Delilah?
All right, I almost shit my pants after I did it.
Yeah. It's a good thing they don't charge till they ship. Let's
Yo,
leave it at that.
my girlfriend would have cut my balls off if she knew I paid $300 for a video
Well,
game.
I mean, I kind of wish that would happen. That way you'd stop fucking talking about them.
They had
Yeah.
the balls to charge shipping too. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding
Oh,
me? I
Square-
just spent
Oh,
$300."
Delilah says it, and you don't censor her.
Side note: Square Enix store is egregious with their shipping charges. I will say, but moving on.
And you don't even get it on release day. Okay, sorry, I had to throw that in there. I hope they listen.
No, I think if you order it with enough time, you do.
Oh,
So we should be getting it on release date. I did with Kingdom Hearts 3 at least. But moving
Oh.
on. Jason, you and I both had this prediction. It did not come true. I'm pissed about it. How the fuck did we not see Fable?
Yeah.
I don't. I'm so surprised. And this is kind of the next thing I want to talk about is Microsoft didn't kill it this year, in my opinion.
nope.
Nobody did. And
I don't agree with that.
or not nobody did. I think Square, I wouldn't say they knocked it out of the park because there were some less, obviously they ended on a pretty poor note with Avengers, but I mean, Square had a good conference, but aside from Square, nobody else really had a good or great conference. It was
See,
kind of
I
a
personally
meh all around.
Personally, I think that Nintendo had the best overall presentation, but we'll get to that when we go over the Nintendo predictions that we have, because we are not there yet. But Microsoft didn't quite meet my expectations. They were my favorite press conference last year.
After we watched it and I kind of drew back a little bit, what you just said, I think, is the problem. Is everybody had very high expectations.
And I to an extent I agree, but I feel like they had E3 to themselves essentially.
They also kind of fucked themselves over by teasing the next Xbox last year.
Exactly, and that's the biggest point I want to bring up is they started talking about next generation hardware last year, 2018, and now we have a launch window for that next generation hardware from E3 2019, and it's holiday 2020. So why the fuck are we hearing about next generation hardware 2.5 years ahead of time?
Yeah, I feel like when Sony announced that they were not going to show up at E3, Microsoft went ahead and tweeted like 1 minute after and was like, "See you at E3." And if you're going to be that provocative, you need to bring it. And they didn't. And I understand why they didn't do it, because it's like a weird time in between generations. And that's exactly like when I experienced E3, I understood why Sony stepped back from it, and it made total sense. And I feel like almost every conference would have benefited from doing a direct style. Like Bethesda have a Fallout 76 direct or whatever you want to call it. Like I feel like that would have been better. Although I do like E3 as like a gamer holiday. In this weird spot that we're in, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, it's like it's like we were chatting during the presentations, and I said to you guys, Sony almost wins by not being there.
Yeah. But
Because really nobody has anything to show, I don't think.
but it's
At least,
funny
Right.
to play counterpoint though. Like last year, Square Enix didn't have like a traditional press conference. They did like direct style, and I thought it fell really flat. This year, I expected the exact same, and then suddenly they're on a stage. I didn't realize it was going to be a live press conference, and they killed it.
No, they did, absolutely. But I feel like even if they would have just showed what they showed on stage in a direct style, it still would have been good. The problem is they showed the same shit that we saw already in their direct style last year, whereas this year they had more to show.
Right.
And I think that was the difference.
Yeah. But
and I mean, going back to the original, we were talking about Xbox. I felt like their show was entirely saved by third parties that
Yeah.
Yeah.
are not Xbox exclusive, like Cyberpunk. I mean, it was kind of weird. They opened with Outer Worlds.
yeah, I thought that was weird too.
Which technically, yes, they own the studio now, but the game is still multi-platform as far as I know.
Yes.
Look, I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Obsidian, they used to be Black Isle. That's what they used to be called. The creators of Fallout, obviously. They made Fallout New Vegas for Bethesda better than any Fallout Bethesda was able to make. Still the best Fallout, in my opinion. Yeah, there was nothing first party from Xbox that really stood out, and I got really excited when the Halo trailer came up to show off the new Xbox's capabilities, and I thought we were actually going to get some gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
And like it started off with some story stuff, and I was like, okay, they're just setting up this new world the new Halo will take place in. And it starts pumping up towards the end when Master Chief is like, the dude's like, oh, we got to run. And Master Chief says, no, we have to fight. And the music starts going. And I'm like, oh, fuck, yes, gameplay. And then it just cut off.
Yep.
I was like,
Yeah.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, they just fed completely off of hype with the music, with showing Master Chief's green armor. Like that's all it was. They're like, okay, we're not gonna do what we did, in Halo 5 with like Spartan Lock. Like we're gonna focus on Master Chief. Yeah, we know that now. Thank you for establishing that. But other than that, they didn't show anything. We just heard Cortana. We saw Master Chief, the dope music, and then that was it. It's like, all right, well, you didn't do anything.
Wait, Delilah, how did that music go again?
Sorry, I'm really bad at it. I don't want to do it again.
Dun, 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 dun.
So,
All right.
yeah, and we also got confirmation that will be a launch title with the new hardware. But why are you talking about it? Why were you talking about it 2.5 years ahead of time? It doesn't make sense.
And even
doesn't
the
make sense.
hardware.
You haven't even showed off what the hardware looks like, and you're talking about Halo 5 being, I mean, sorry, not Halo 5, Halo Infinite being a launch title, and we don't even know what Halo Infinite fucking looks like gameplay-wise.
Yeah. And not to mention all the specs that you talked about at your conference is the same exact things that Sony talked about in like an article from an interview, which is probably the best way to talk about that stuff.
I think that was in the same way that the Wired interview was a response to them talking about next generation hardware last year. This was a response to that Wired article where they started really delving into specs, and they checked off all the boxes.
Exactly.
And then some. So now the ball is once again in Sony's court, and really the thing I'm annoyed about is
You just talked about a ball. Congratulations. We should edit you out.
So thanks for listening to the show. Jason is officially off for every future episode. No, I'm just kidding.
I am the show.
Okay. So Microsoft started this arms race early on, and I just don't agree with it. And I think that we can leave it at that. I think we can move on to Delilah's sixth prediction. Delilah, we didn't get a new BioShock.
Of course not. That
Yeah.
I knew that wasn't gonna happen, even though I predicted
You
it.
wanted to will it into existence, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that. I really do.
It took some, I'm not gonna say it, but it took some of something.
Some of what
Uh,
thing?
I'm not gonna say it because
Can
I
you
don't want you to
can you
be a
just
little bitch and complain about it.
can you describe it?
Cojones.
But you know who's not a bitch, Delilah, because she made that prediction.
Yeah,
She laid it all on the line.
I agree. I do agree. All right, my I'm gonna save all the Nintendo ones for last. This prediction, I'm bummed out about this, Jason. The thing that I was checking before the show, and I said, well, that's a bummer or whatever. I don't remember exactly what I said. I checked something before the show, and it's a real bummer. We did not get a state of play today.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I today is Thursday. We're recording on a Thursday. I don't know when this will be going up, but I predicted that that Sony would announce a state of play for today, Thursday, June 13th, the last official day of E3, because I figured they would want to be part of the conversation while the conversation was happening.
You know what? I'm starting to think this might not be the last time we don't see Sony at E3. I'm thinking there might be obviously, I think we'll get more state of the plays in between now and then, but I think there will be some kind of, if not a full-blown PlayStation experience, some sort of big blowout end of the year state of the play, where they're planning to show off a lot more of what they're working on coming up in the next year, like say Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, possibly more information on PlayStation 5.
I mean, I would love if they did PlayStation Experience again, but we shall see.
And not in the way that they did it last year.
Or no,
Yeah.
2 years ago at this point. Last year they skipped.
Yeah, it felt
Well,
like
yeah, so not in the
kept
way they
saying
did it last year either.
Yeah.
But yeah, no state of play. Did not get the point for that. Sad. Jason, there was no Dragon Quest 12 tease.
I stand my ground.
Yeah.
Take the hits.
Yeah, well. Didn't happen.
Lots of other Dragon Quest shenanigans.
Yes.
Dragon Age. I was about to say Dragon Quest, and I switched to it because it used to be called Dragon. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying either.
Dragon Warriors.
I'm so tired. I'm sorry. It used to be called Dragon Warriors. Now it's Dragon Quest. Well, it always was Dragon Quest, but there was copyright IP issue, whatever. So I felt like that game, or at least the IP, was in just about every fucking presentation.
Well, they did.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, some do say that the Dragon Quest Builders 2 trailer that they showed is still going to this day. I don't know. Did you guys feel like that was unnecessarily long?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did not get a Dragon Quest 12 tease. Sorry, Jason. No point for you.
And I'm super pissed off that the Nintendo Switch gets a fucking orchestrated soundtrack,
Yeah.
and the PlayStation 4 version doesn't.
Guess it's time for you to get that Switch back.
Nah, no way.
Continuing with the theme of dragons, Delilah, we did not see Dragon Age.
Yep.
It just wasn't there.
Sorry, Solus.
So
We will not see your egghead.
Yeah, BioWare's gonna disappear for a little while.
I kind of think so.
Yeah.
All I have left is Nintendo predictions. Jason has one that's not, so we will get to that momentarily. I'll start off with my second point that I earned this E3. We did not see Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, that was a easy one.
Yeah. Well, it earned me a point. What can
Didn't
I
they
say?
fucking say that before the conference? I don't remember.
I don't believe so.
All they did was say that they had to revamp the entire thing. And that was like like 5 months before
It
E3.
was a while ago, yeah, where they basically were shifting development in a different direction, and it was going to take a while. So yeah, no Metroid Prime. Mark gets a point. Jason, you also get a point. This is I would argue this one's even easier. We got not one but two different new pieces of content for Fallout 76.
Yeah.
The new expansion, I forget what it's called. I know
I
that
don't remember.
the
Yeah, I
battle,
don't care.
that shows how much we retained that information. I remember
Battle
Battle Royale.
Royale,
well,
basically.
the battle royale is the second one, which is
Yeah.
Nuclear Winter, if I recall. The first one was something else, and I can't remember. It's the whole thing that's adding NPCs, and the whole crowd erupted over
Right.
NPCs getting added to a video game.
Well, I'm glad they're doing that, because one of the biggest problems I had with that game is everything was a freaking video recording
Yeah.
or like, a dead body. And that's the only NPCs you saw.
Oh, I'm not.
Dead bodies talk to you.
Huh? No,
You
the
talk
bodies.
to dead bodies. Oh,
No,
Yeah.
but you heard people talking about dead bodies.
Oh.
So, Fallout 76 getting expanded content. Jason gets a point for that.
I needed an easy point just to create a baseline.
Yeah, okay.
I guess I gotta be a pussy next year.
Delaila, I'm sorry.
No, Mark's a pussy. We're not pussies.
Delaila, I'm sorry, but Bayonetta 3 did not have a trailer or.
I thought that would be an easy one.
I did too. That's such bullshit.
I think I even tried to tell y'all. I tried to tell you. I tried to tell my roommate. I tried to tell everybody that game was not going to be there, and it was not.
That was wrong, man.
Because they announced and showed off all that shit last year, didn't they?
No, that was announced.
Nintendo?
That was announced. Bayonetta 3 was announced at the Game Awards 2017.
Oh, so even like that would make it even more likely, you would think.
See, I personally think that they're saving it for the Game Awards again. So I
They're
think
probably saving it for the Game Awards, and right now they're focusing on Astral Chains, which is coming out a lot sooner.
yeah, and Bayonetta, revealed at the Game Awards. I think they want to show it again at the Game Awards, and they have been pretty vocal that the development of the game is going really well. So take that as you will.
That's right. I forgot that Platinum had another game coming out on the Switch.
Platinum almost always has like 3 games in development.
Yeah.
They are insane. Moving on. I predicted that Animal Crossing would be getting a release date of August 2019.
They fucked up.
They fucked up. They are releasing it in March next year.
How do you fuck up Animal Crossing?
They so I actually really like
the state of Nintendo.
I actually really like their response to the delay of Animal Crossing, because their response to the delay of Animal Crossing was they gave a comment on crunch, which is a huge problem in the industry right now. It's more noticeable than ever. We got the story about Red Dead Redemption 2 last year, where employees were giving their stories of crunch and how some were working 100-hour work weeks, which was a quote taken out of context, but it still started a greater conversation about crunch. And Nintendo's rationale is they would rather not work their employees to death and delay a game, to make sure that it meets their standard of quality, but also doesn't kill their employees, which I think is great. I think that's really great. It's really rare in this industry right now, especially with all the stories, even more recent than Red Dead, but Anthem.
Yeah. Jason Schreier ripped them a big one.
Yeah, really blew that out of the water.
I mean, some of those numbers, like 100, 120 hours a week, like when you actually think about it, probably exaggerated, but like I do believe that they're working like very, very much more so than they should be working.
And yeah, it's crunch is a big problem, and Nintendo's doing something to address it, which I think is fantastic. So it unfortunately means I don't get a point. Drats.
I'm just laughing at like how do you even like if you're trying to avoid crunch, how do you fuck up Animal Crossing?
Oh my god.
Don't you just take like the same fucking engine and tune it up a little
No,
bit
because
and
with this Animal Crossing, they're really changing a lot of things up. That's how it
what's
seems to
the
me.
what's the fucking change up at Animal Crossing?
The game seems much more adventurous than past Animal Crossings
Okay.
have appeared. It
To
it
be
does
fair,
seem significantly more ambitious.
I look down on modern Nintendo as somebody who grew up loving Nintendo and their games, and now I take any chance I can to take the piss on them, like, because I don't understand them. I don't understand modern Nintendo.
Yes. Well, you understand them somewhat because you got a point, Jason.
Yeah, I was literally just guessing. Well, I wasn't guessing. I was looking at historically my favorite, well, not my favorite, one of my favorite Nintendo titles and one of the generally regarded as best games of all time, Ocarina of Time, um, and how Nintendo reacted internally to that game, which was to churn out a sequel as fast as possible using the same engine, reusing assets, um, which of course became Majora's Mask. And it looks like they're doing pretty much the same thing with Breath of the Wild.
Yes, Jason, you predicted that we would be getting a new Zelda game revealed in the Breath of the Wild engine, which amazingly came true.
I'm like so surprised at that because also on Kind of Funny, Fran Mirabella, who's like a new Kind of Funny member, also predicted that. And so when you predicted it, I was like, wait, what the hell? Like, is there something I don't know?
Is
Like,
that where he went? Because he used to be on Fireteam Chat on IGN. I used to watch him on Fireteam Chat, the Destiny show.
yeah, I think he went back to that too now with the expansion. But yeah, he's a Kind of Funny guy now.
Well, very surprising. And the game, funnily enough, you bring up the whole Ocarina of Time to Majora's Mask comparison. Majora's Mask was generally considered a much darker game in tone. So does this one.
Yeah, I love it.
The parallels are stark.
And I made that prediction like not exactly. Actually, I was hoping that wouldn't come true, because I fucking hate Breath of the Wild. But hopefully, with this one, the game will actually have dungeons,
More traditional dungeons.
intelligent combat,
Oh boy.
non-breakable weapons.
Anyway.
Somewhat of a cohesive storyline.
All right.
You can I'm okay if they keep climbing shit and like the exploration elements, but literally every other aspect of the game needs to fucking be improved. For me, at least for me.
Well,
I liked it, but I also liked Horizon Zero Dawn more that year.
Yes,
which is
that was a
unpopular opinion.
No, that was a far superior game in almost every way.
well, you got the point. Delaila,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I feel like
Dude.
for every single one, I'm just apologizing to you.
I always lose.
But
The first year I got second place, but that's it.
Persona 5 Royal was not announced for Switch.
And now I'm confident that it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm reaching that point too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Jason's, and then I'm gonna finish with yours and mine, Delaila. Jason, we did not get a new Star Fox.
I do not understand. We got fucking Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah,
but we didn't get Star
my
Fox.
God. We got Panzer Dragoon. That's incredible. How?
Like, why wouldn't you just take the resources you were using to remaster Panzer Dragoon and just fucking make a new Star Fox just like that? Like old school Star Fox.
Maybe instead we'll get a Star Fox Labo kit, and you can build your own R-wing out of cardboard.
God.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. I fucking don't understand Nintendo. Like, they sit on all these awesome IPs and never use them and just shit out the IPs that nobody fucking cares about. Or I guess somebody cares about them because they're making money.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jason. Contrary to popular belief, or really just your belief, more people probably care about Animal Crossing than Star Fox.
I wouldn't doubt it. There are a lot of
That's very
idiots in this
true.
world.
Not idiots, just people that aren't hardcore gamers. It's a very approachable game. It's
Yes.
a baby game.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
All right, Delilah. I'm pissed that this didn't happen. I'm so upset we did not get that awesome Solaire pitch.
Yeah, instead we got like a really lackluster reveal for what's that Dragon Quest character?
The hero.
The hero.
Actually, it's the Luminary.
You would know better than
But
me.
to contrast to that, we did end with a really, really good reveal for Banjo Kazooie as a character.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to. It's not. I'm not saying that Smash is a bad game because it's not. It's a very good game. I just don't get like people fucking on Twitter and not Twitter, YouTube. Well, yeah, Twitter and YouTube were like shitting their pants over Banjo being in Smash when like I kind of feel like that's just like another skin being added to a game, like because let's be fair, like in Smash, a lot of these extra characters are generally just carbon copies of existing characters. In
No.
terms of gameplay, they play the same.
I would say that's very true of sword type characters, and I wonder how the hero is going to differentiate himself or themselves from all the other sword characters that are in the game already. Uh, Non-sword characters tend to really change things up.
Okay, fair enough.
And what was a little different for Nintendo, they typically when they announce a Smash character, they spend way too long talking about it and going over its moveset. They didn't do that with either of these characters. So I don't know how either of them play. We have yet to see that, but
Well, we did see the magic from the Dragon Quest.
yeah,
It looks like they titled him the hero because it looks like you'll be able to switch between the different heroes from the different games.
it'll be probably like the different costumes will be different heroes from different games.
So
Yeah.
we saw 8, 4, 9, I believe.
I couldn't tell you.
I'm just trying to go. I barely remember from the direct. I know we saw 8. I remember
Okay.
that, and we saw 12. Not 12, 11. Sorry.
Well,
Here's what disappoints me about this.
okay.
Those characters are very expected. Like people were like, "Oh, Banjo, Banjo, Banjo" for like the longest, and this character is very expected. When Joker was revealed, that was like completely out of left field, and I feel like Solaire might also be out of left field. And I want that for one of the next challenger packs, like that level of wow. And I don't
Like,
I
what
don't-
if,
Oh, I totally agree.
given all the cooperation that's been going on and how like public they've been about it,
The Jolly
if fucking
cooperation.
what if Master Chief was revealed as a Smash character?
Right, like something that would be even more out of left.
It would
I
be
think-
almost like when Snake was revealed as a Smash character in whatever the Wii one was called.
Brawl.
Brawl, yeah.
I think the thing about Banjo Kazooie was that Banjo Kazooie is one of the most requested characters for Smash, and no one thought it would ever actually happen.
right.
And then only recently did it actually become like a feasible, plausible idea that it could happen. And then it did. I see how it is a big deal. I think the Dragon Quest one, much less of a big deal, is more expected. Also, if I recall, it leaked a while back, so it really wasn't much of a surprise. That's not to take anything away from the character. The character could be very fun to play, very cool.
Of course.
But the Banjo Kazooie reveal was pretty huge, and we'll see where it goes from there. But you know what the biggest deal about it is?
Yeah.
Mm.
It got me my last point.
Yes.
Which was a bullshit
My
point.
last prediction was that there would be a new Smash character, and it would not be a Nintendo character.
I said when we did this that we should have had you specify.
Well, even if I specified a Microsoft character, I would have gotten the point.
Yeah, but what if you had to choose? I remember
Jason,
I said you had to choose
this
one
is
of two
coming
characters.
from there will be a Fallout 76 expansion.
This is bullshit.
So, the
This
final
game
tally.
is fucking rigged. I
The
don't want to
final
play anymore.
tally. In third place, Delaila. For the first time, I think, ever, you got no points.
Yo, that's a win.
Delilah's the secret winner of E3 predictions. Jason, you got 2 points for your Zelda and Fallout 76 predictions. And me with my new IP from Arcane, no Metroid Prime 4, and new Smash character not being a Nintendo character. I have 3 points. Hooray!
In our hearts, though, we're all winners because we're getting Final Fantasy VIII, not just remastered, like almost remade, somewhat on
Yeah.
the PS4.
Yes, we will be getting that. Not just for PS4, but for Xbox One and for Switch.
Oh, that's right.
So have it on your high-end systems and on the go if you so wish. I don't know why like that. I'm excited to play that game, but only just so I can say that I finally beat it and then move on and never play it again.
What, Final Fantasy VIII?
Yes, that's not a good Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's not. A good
Yes, it is.
Anyway,
It's. I'll say this: the combat system is weak and a bit underdeveloped and easily exploitable, but every other aspect of it, by far and away has the best soundtrack in the entire series.
I disagree with that, but it does have a
y-
very good
y-
soundtrack.
You can't disagree. It just by far and away does.
I can't disagree. I think I can
No.
disagree, Jason. But I think this is an argument that would be better saved for another time.
Another. Yeah, leave in the comments if you want a Final Fantasy show that we'll do at some
Yes,
point.
Jason and I have been planning this for a while. If you're a longtime listener, you would know this. We want to do a Final Fantasy show, and we will make it happen eventually. But that is all for today. I think we've covered E3 pretty good. I think we covered predictions pretty good. I think we overall, I would give this. Okay, let's end on this note. What letter grade would you guys give this E3?
C.
Exactly.
A C?
Yep, on the nose.
I would go C+, but we're pretty much all on the same page.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just meh.
Like, if you guys are gonna give it a 76, I would give it a 77. Right on the cusp.
I would have given it worse, but like Grandma in Watch Dogs, Keanu Reeves for Cyberpunk, the gameplay for Final Fantasy VII, and what else was like really good? Doom gameplay. Those like really.
It certainly had its moments. It certainly had its moments, but overall, this was a weird, disappointing year. And I don't know.
I think that's the key word is disappointing. We had expectations, and to be honest, those expectations weren't really warranted.
To an extent, yeah, I would agree. But
in a way, I mean, we've kind of had some really good E3s lately, so we're spoiled.
Yeah, we are.
And also keep in mind, a lot of shit has been coming out not in conferences. For instance, a shitload of awesome, if you're into Destiny, a shitload of awesome Destiny shit, news, info has come out, reveals, and interviews with Luke Smith, who's the game director, etc.
Obligatory. People still play Destiny.
Yo, after the most recent content drop I saw, and there was also a discount on the PS Store. It's now $15 for the season pass. I reinstalled it and fucking got that shit on there. It's fucking awesome. And the announcement they made for the September DLC, shit looks awesome. And the base game is gonna become free to play. So,
well, that is.
But
exciting.
I mean, I'm just using that as an example. Like, there's been a lot of other reveals going around besides the press conferences, and obviously we talked about in the last recording before leading up to them, and there were so many leaks, so many reveals, trailers posted, like, Death Stranding.
Yes.
That would, like, that Death Stranding trailer would have been a classic E3 show.
Yeah.
But it's just been a weird year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been a weird episode of
Yeah.
I don't know.
All over the place.
Not even any particular show. We're considering this a bonus episode from Dead Cell Media. If you liked it, give it a like on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you listen to it on the podcast feeds, rate, review us, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Nibblehymie, Jason, you're at Solid Quaz. Delaila is at Assassina_san.
Mm-hmm.
And you could follow us on Twitter at the Dead Cell Media account, at Dead Cell Media. You can follow us on Facebook, like the group, participate in fun conversations. Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
If you're on the YouTube feed and you haven't listened to it yet, Reap the Spoils. It's a monthly show we do where we spoil a game. A game that we've all played. We usually play it that month. The next episode will be Days Gone. We need to record that, guys.
Yep.
Apologies for how long it's taken us.
It's all right.
It was a fucking long game.
And plus E3 it's a humdinger every year.
Yeah.
So, but that brings us to an end. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Peace out.
Jason, you gonna say goodbye?
No.
Okay.